Hello class, I'd like to ask you a question. Who here likes training? I do. No, I love training. That's what we do every day in the military, right? Train, train, train. We train to go overseas and kill people we don't know, protect people back home that we don't even like. So we train for war, but how do we know we're ready for war? That's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. I want to talk to you about the verification process that happens inside an F-16 fighter aircraft unit. I want to talk to you about what it is, why we do it, and then break down the operations and how it applies to the pilots as well as the enlisted force personnel. So first, before I break it down, what is a verification? Basically, all units need some sort of operational test in order to measure their unit's ability to go out and conduct the mission that they were trained to do. We need to be able to know that a unit can be successful in performing a task that is given to it. So for the F-16 fighter world, that missional readiness testing is called the verification process. For the verification, basically a mission, an operational mission task that's given down to the pilots and the enlisted force support forces. And performance of this tasking is going to identify weak areas in unit training as well as additional individuals that require additional training in order for the overall unit to operate more smoothly. So essentially what's going to happen on day one of the verification is a simulated operational mission tasking is going to drop. Usually this tasking is given out to the intel personnel first. The intel personnel will develop the tasking and develop what's called a frag drop briefing. The frag drop briefing is going to be given out to the entire unit. It's essentially going to create an initial picture of the scenario. Why they're going to war, the type of mission they'll be flying and supporting. For the pilots, it's going to establish a baseline for the threat country and their tactics, abilities, and threat systems that they might be engaged in once they actually fly their actual mission, whether it's surface-to-air threats, air-to-air, or ground and naval threats. So once the frag drop briefing has been given, the intel personnel will continue working very closely with the pilots to develop their pre-mission briefing. The pre-mission briefing is done for the pilots by the pilots as a systematic review of all the information they need to fly a successful mission. It's going to involve all the details such as communication frequencies, safe areas to land in case there's emergencies. It's going to cover weather options, additional supporting aircraft packages. This briefing takes somewhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours. Just kind of give you a mindset of the amount of detailed information inside this briefing. So once the pre-mission briefing is established, pilots will continue working for 4 to 12 hours, establishing their final mission details and making all the last-minute additional changes that may be required. Once the mission has been briefed, the pilots will go out and fly their simulated scenario flight. And once they're done, they'll come back and we'll conduct a formal debriefing. Formal debriefing involves not just the pilots, but the enlisted personnel that support them, as well as any other enlisted support functions. The formal briefing is usually done in front of the weapons specialist, as well as the unit commanders. It usually takes roughly 2 to 2.5 hours. While all members are going through the verification, generally are standing at parade rest, being drilled full of questions by the commanders and the weapons specialists. Bottom line results, based on the debriefing, is this is their test to see if they can successfully fulfill a real-world tasking and complete the mission that was given to them. For the pilots, it tests their ability to to both plan and execute a full mission. For the package commanders, going to test their ability to manage all the supporting aircraft for that particular mission, which in some cases can involve 20-plus aircraft for a 40-minute flight based on the scenario. For Intel, it's going to test our knowledge on the threat countries, our system knowledge, as well as our ability to pass information down to the pilots at a level they can understand, which ultimately is going to help the pilots plan better, react more quickly, and ultimately come home safely. So, I hope that some of these points will apply to your own career fields and will help you with identifying how important and critical mission readiness truly is. So thank you for listening.